So, my recorder went out a little bit. It didn't miss much. I just folded twice anyway. It wasn't, didn't miss anything. I folded my blind. Um, I like to three bet with 8-5 of diamonds from Ronaldo 333, who opens the button for five. I've just seen him do it a couple times. He has multi-tabling. There's really not a whole ton of reason to believe that he has a big hand in that spot. So I think on a 10 deuce 3 board, I think I get the most credit by actually either check raising or check calling. Um, his hand range is pretty much all over the place. By calling in position, he could have a lot of different kinds of hands, and I don't think that he'd expect me to fold a 10 deuce 3 board very often. Um, so here's another card where his range is still it's pretty much all over that queen. And I think if I bet, I get floated by far too much that I'm actually now check giving up. If the turn was a complete brick, if it say it was a four or a five or well, five makes me fair, a six, a seven, an eight, a deuce, an ace, I would have bet. But a queen, it completes so much of his flatting range pre that I'm going to be folding. And I don't necessarily mean it completes him a pair, but if I were to make a play at that board, he could float me, and then I'm at a crazy hard decision on the river. Um, and I basically just have to bluff shove the river and just hope that he really didn't have king queen or queen jack or ace queen, and it is not worth it in my mind. I'm gonna fold king seven on the button. I'm not really getting an idea that these players are horrible. I think they're pretty decent, and I'm going to end up doing things that I would do against good, decent players, and I'm not gonna try and take King 10 for three streets of value like I would in a smaller game. Like you'll see me flop top pair with King 10 and just go crazy apeshit because people are calling down much lighter, but it's gonna be pretty impossible to get three streets of value from these guys with top pair with just, a decent kicker. Um, So I will be doing other things, such as floating, or like you saw me three bet bluff the turn after checking back, and just lines that are unconventional and will make my opponent think a lot more because they're so used to probably seeing ABC play. So we're gonna take it out of the norm a little bit. We're not gonna be just 2.5 or 3xing everything, and we're not. It's just not gonna be just all standard C bets and three bet from blinds and all that. So I'll show you guys some more unconventional stuff that works quite a bit better against more difficult opponents, which is how I feel this table is. I'm not sure about Fun Times or GWN because they're new to the table, but we'll see. Definitely against Mama, Miss Minchev, and Ronaldo. Probably going to be floating a little bit more, maybe even floating two streets. Uh, so it's really important when you're to become a winning player to set up plans. I'm gonna end up folding a7 again. I don't feel like Ronaldo's super loose aggressive, even though he's open quite a bit. And generally, when you open two or three hands, and all of a sudden you look down and you do have ace king, ace queen, aces, queens, kings, jacks, tens, you like jump for joy because you open under the gun after your third open, like Ronaldo might be doing right now, and he's super happy because he figures he's gonna get action because he's been so active, which is kind of my feel. I really hope it can get to showdown so I can kind of see what he's opening with, and get a better feel for it. But I really do feel like Ronaldo's not super crazy, and that he's just really happy that he picked up a hand for the third straight time, and hoping to get action. So thought process on this is if Ronaldo does have air, he's going to be firing that king every time. It's the best part of his range. So him checking back that king, he definitely does not have air. That wouldn't make any sense. Oh wow, he must have checked down ace high. That was a horrible check back on that turn by him when he does have ace high or air in that spot. A king just fills in such a huge part of his range. It didn't. I did not like that. I lost a little bit of respect for him in that pot there. So that means he stabbed with complete air on the flop, and then he just gave up on the king high turn, which is like the best bluff card ever for him. So that was pretty bad on his part, not gonna lie, because it's going to be really difficult for Mama to call down with fives. Um, I mean, maybe they have more of a history that I don't know about, and Ronaldo just figured once Mama called the flop, he had a pair and probably wasn't going to give up the turn. That could definitely be, I guess, and maybe I'm just completely off with the metagame that they have. That's definitely possible too. 9-5 off, we're going to be folding. I'm not making a whole lot of plays pre right now. I feel like my plays are going to come post flop against thinking players. I don't have a whole ton of reason to go crazy pre flop. 10 deuce is going to be going in the muck. For those of you looking to move up the stakes, it is perfectly fine to be playing smaller stake games, 10, 25, 25, 50 cent, 5, 10 cent, which I almost never play. It's definitely okay to be really crazy. 3-bet a lot. Sometimes 4-bet pre, I suppose. And then just constantly blind steal, and just because there's so many people that have just a strict strategy and won't open up their game where you can just run them over and their regulars over and over and over again. But once you move up a little bit, I tend to slow down on 3-bets because people adjust much quicker. All of a sudden you'll see a 4-bet. You're gonna get bluff shoved on flops. Oh wow. So Ronaldo is representing the nuts. I mean, he's representing king high flush, which he very well could have had, or he just had the blocker and figured GWN could be bluffing sometimes and shove there. That's possible too. So deuce 3 on the button. Guess we're gonna be folding again. It's just pretty bad. If I wanted to figure a way to play the deuce 3, if I had to play it, I would probably just call, float most flops, and bluff turns. So king deuce suited. I'm gonna try raising this one up. I'm actually gonna be making it larger, 4x. I know it seems really bad, but I feel like I have been getting played back at a little bit because they don't know who I am, and there's a much, much, much higher chance of getting 3-bet pre when you bet smaller. And I would rather just take the initiative, and if they call, I can just represent a big hand. So I'm okay with that. And I might switch it up a little bit, but for now I'm probably am gonna just be 4xing when I open. Only because they really don't know who I am. If they knew who I was, I just never play on this site. But if they knew who I was, if I sat down at the table and they said, "Oh, look, it's GummieBear. I'm used to him. He's a regular," I'm gonna be opening, my standard amounts. Because they're gonna be a little less inclined to 3-bet me, because they'll have seen me 4-bet before. They'll have seen me call down and a little bit lighter. They'll have seen me bluff raise spots. And okay, so Jack 8 10. I mean, I have Jack 8 off and a 10 8, King 10 8 board with 2 clubs. Sorry, I was stumbling there. I think the best play is to check call. It does become difficult to play an 8 in this spot, but I don't think he's going to take a 10 for 3 streets of value. It's definitely a pretty easy spot for him to keep bluffing. I know we picked up a gut shot. I think it's okay to check call again. So my thought process is a king he would take for a couple streets of value. But a 10 he wouldn't. So now that he checked back turn, I feel like he was either giving up or he did have a king or a 10. So I think he's just going to check down a lot of the time. And okay, so we have the same hand.